started. Let's go. Okay, Melissa, let's go. All right. So how to pivot into full-time entrepreneurship. So first, I want to define what a career is for you. A career is the vehicle through which you exchange your time, your talent, and your effort for money and other measures of value, right? So that can look like a traditional corporate job. It can look like entrepreneurship. It can look like freelancing. It can look like consulting. All of those are careers. So a traditional corporate job isn't the only thing called a career, right? And as you heard, this has been my story, my career to date. So I recently founded my own company in January 2020, 2 months before the pandemic started. And former CEO of the Branson Center of Entrepreneurship in the Caribbean. I did that for 3 years as CEO. I was there for a total of 7 years. And my personality type, I'm an ENFP, which is the bohemian, nomadic type of personality type. I couldn't have stayed in any other job for 7 years. That institution, Virgin, is extremely special and really allowed me to step into my authentic self and really come alive at work, which is what a soul career really is. So if you know your Myers-Briggs, type it in the chat. That's going to be so important. Your 4 letters. I'm an ENFP. That's so important as a starting point for what you're going to do in the rest of your career. I'm also the chairman of a company in Jamaica, Innovate 10X. It's a technology consulting firm. I am a director on the Jamaica Stock Exchange listed company, First Rock Capital. And as you heard, MBA from Harvard Business School, University of Chicago. And I love to travel. I love food. I love wine. I love books, and I love Spain. I lived there for a year when I was younger, and it's one of my favorite countries in the world, outside Jamaica, of course. Okay, I see some of you saying what your Myers-Briggs are. ISTJ, ENFP, awesome. INFJ, ENFP. There's a free test available at 16personalities.com that gives you a very accurate result that really helps you understand deeper parts of yourself that you may not be aware of, because who we think we are and who we really are underneath are often different people. And in order for us to be happy in our careers as an entrepreneur or as a professional or anything in between, we have to be very aligned with our personality. So my entrepreneurial journey, I was CEO of the Branson Center for 3 years, and I decided to leave in December 2019. And at the start of 2019, January 2019, I actually had no plans to leave. But what had happened was I went on a trip in May 2019. I got invited to speak at a conference in Spain. And uh-oh, go on mute, everyone. Mute. And when I went to Spain, so I had lived in Spain when I was 20 years old. And when I went back in 2019 for the first time in 15 years, I just came alive again. The food and the architecture and the flamenco and the people and the culture and the art, it was just life. I felt life flowing through me. And it made me realize that up until that point, I actually was living in a routine of work, home, gym, work, home, gym, work, home, gym. And I felt very powerfully in my body. I felt this compulsion that I had to experience life again and shake things up and really make big actions towards the life that I wanted to lead. Because my vision for my life is location independence, time freedom, having time for family and kids and all of that, travel when we can travel again. And so I wanted to start creating the vehicle through which I could make that vision manifest. So after that trip in May 2019, I came back to Jamaica and I was like, okay, let me just let this feeling and this compulsion wear off. It's just an impulse. I want to keep my good job. I love my job. I'm going to keep it. Let me just give it a few months to just wear off. And a month passed and 2 months passed and the feeling did not wear off. It grew, this inner compulsion that it was time for me to do something else, to do something more, and to really express more of myself into the world. So I gave notice as CEO. I had to give 6 months notice at the Branson Center. So I gave notice in July or August, and we went on a succession planning activity where we chose a new CEO, and then I left in December, at the end of December 2019. And then starts 2020. So I made that decision based on my personal core values of freedom and excellence. And how do you know what your core values are? Your core values aren't just what you think, oh, I love freedom. It's based on the decisions that you've routinely made in your life. So for me, my life has been a series of decisions in favor of freedom and against being tied down. That's how I know what my core value is, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about your core values a little later on. So what grabbed me about the company that I founded was the business model and the opportunity. It was online coaching and course-based programs with people at the heart of it, serving other people. And I decided, based on my entrepreneurial background and my private equity background, I decided I was going to go true entrepreneurial style and raise funding for this venture so that I could ensure that I paid myself a salary. I didn't have this urgency around money that was really important to me. And I got to express what was in me to create in the world without that pressure. And so I launched in January 2020, and the pandemic started 3 months later. Okay. So my company, just a little bit about it so you have context for when, as we go through, it's an online course and coaching company. We have programs for professionals, executives, and entrepreneurs, and we're really focused on helping our clients find their life's work and leave powerful legacies. So there are pros and cons with launching during a pandemic. The pro, there's a lot more comfort now with online businesses than there was even last year, right? Everybody had to shift online very suddenly. So taking online courses, getting a coach online, that just became very normalized very fast. I remember when I was raising funding in December of 2019, people were asking me, is this really going to work? People want in person, right? And now there's no questions like that anymore. Also, what happened during the pandemic was there was a spike in interest for career coaching, especially, right? A lot of people lost their jobs or their jobs became very tenuous. And so they sought help in massive, massive ways. And so I got a lot more interest, especially early in the pandemic than I had expected, which is unexpected, right? You're hearing so many stories of businesses not doing well during the pandemic. Online businesses did well during the pandemic. Also, people began to search for more meaning in their lives. They wanted, when we get faced with something as broad as our mortality, we start to think, how do I want to live my life, right? And a lot more people came face to face with that question. And a lot of the times the answer was, I don't want to work in corporate anymore. I want to be able to see my kids more. I want to stay home more. And so business coaching also started booming in the pandemic as well. However, of course, downsides of launching a company during a pandemic, people became a lot more cautious about spending, especially if they were uncertain about their future income. And coaching is an investment in yourself. So they thought really hard about that investment. And then the market just became so crowded. Everybody went online. Everybody started a coaching business as the pandemic wore on. And so the space just got very, very crowded. So there were pros and cons to launching. I'm very happy that I decided to raise external funding so that I had more stability as I went through. I'm reading some of the comments here. Yes, my soulmate from Sonia and Rennie is saying, yes, the corporate life, it feels very rigid. It can feel very, very restrictive. Okay, so it was my journey. I've done to date almost 50 clients this year from all over the world, from Japan, from San Francisco, from Panama, from the UK, from Denmark. And in fact, I've gotten clients from Uber, from GitHub, which is a Microsoft-owned company. So my clients have been global. My clients have come from really top companies and they've been amazing. Like all of them have been dream clients to work with. And now what I'm trying to think about is how to scale going into next year and the years beyond that. So if you're thinking about pivoting, I have some tips for you. This is our system at Soul Career, and it's applicable whether you're starting a business or you're thinking about a career pivot. First, understand your psychology and what makes you happy at work. And understand not just what you think makes you happy, but what really, really does. Psychometric tests help a lot with that. And some core values exercises would help with that too. Second, you have to learn how to position yourself better than other people going after the same things as you are. Whether you're going after a new job or whether you're launching your business, positioning is the key to success. And third, persistence. The people who win are the people who persist. So many people start things and drop out. They don't continue. It gets too hard. They can't survive the dip. The people who win are the ones who persist with great positioning and a deep understanding.
Hold on. You know what? This is new to me.
Okay. All right. So all three things of these are necessary for you to achieve what you want in your life. Because if you just have 2 or 3, you'll have a nice dream, but you won't get your soul career. If you have great positioning and great persistent, but don't understand yourself, you're going to burn out. And if you have great understanding of the self and lots of energy and action, but you're not positioned well in the market, you'll be disappointed over and over again. So all 3 are necessary to get what you want out of the vision for your life that you have. And I think my time is coming up to a close. So let me read through some of my other slides. Core values. So McKinsey has distilled core values into 9 broad categories. What I want you to take away from this slide is that if your core values are tradition, stability, you don't like change, you like things to be predictable, support and nurturing and caring, the entrepreneurial life is not for you if these are your top core values. If your core values are, I'm marking up my screen here. I don't know what I clicked on. If your core values are achievement and freedom, then yes, entrepreneurship is something you should consider. I don't know why my screen is so marked up. Let me just try to fix this. Sorry, guys. All right, and we're back. So, reasons not to become an entrepreneur. If you value income stability, if you fear losing status and prestige and perks like free travel on Virgin Atlantic, if you've never failed before, if you can't handle loneliness, it's very lonely as an entrepreneur. If you want to work less, not more, entrepreneurship is not for you. You work way more as an entrepreneur than you do as an employee. If you don't want to touch your savings, and if you don't know how to sell, if you don't have sales, you don't have a business, then entrepreneurship is not for you. If reasons to become an entrepreneur, there is something in you that the world needs and that you know you can deliver better than other people. And you feel a compulsion to do it. You can't sleep until you birth what is in you to birth into the world. And you're willing to lose all your money to go after it, right? Many entrepreneurs end up in financial ruin. You have to be able to look at that outcome in the face and say, I am willing to take that risk. Oh, I see the chat's going off, but I want to keep within my time. Oh, I had one more slide, but I don't think I included it here. Okay, so these are the reasons to go after it. Make sure you have a great business model. You have a great opportunity. You're launching in the right industry at the right time. And that business model is aligned to your personality and the vision that you have for your life. And I'm going to end there. If you want a consultation with me, just book it on soulcareer.com. And you can always reach out to me on Instagram, LinkedIn, online, and you can email me. Here's my email. Email us. It's open. We'll respond maybe in a few days. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to check the chat now. Over to you, MC.